Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Happy Friday. I hope you all had a good week. Today we're going to be talking about the Balis Nakiri. Nikiri is quite an interesting battle song because it received a lot of positive feedback at its initial announcement. But then after its release, when it finally dropped, people had mixed opinions on it. And I think a lot of people thought that it was overhyped because people had tried it initially, like in the earlier stages of the drops, and said it was amazing. And then when other people got it in the hand, they thought it was like just completely overrated and not nearly as good as people were saying it was. And now the Nakiri, I think most people have kind of a negative-ish view on it because I think they think it's overpriced and just doesn't flip that well for what it is and how much it was hyped up. Sorry, my parrot is talking a lot right now. Yeah, so it's quite a polarizing ballad song because there's certain things that people really don't like with it. And some people really do like those things, myself included. There's one main thing I'm talking about. If you've tried a Nikiri, you probably know. But yeah, there's one main thing. And I think overall, people either think this is overhyped or underrated. And that's why I'm titling the video that, because I think that really sums up people's thoughts on the Nikiri. I think people either don't want to get Nikiri because they've heard it's overrated, or people are telling others to get it because they think it's underrated. So I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on the Nikiri today, and hopefully I make some sense when I'm talking to you guys. Hope you guys you get what I'm talking about. Let's jump right into it though. It is a Chanwich titanium design made by Balis Blake on Instagram, and it's got this really cool blade shape with no tip, which is one thing I really appreciate about it. Really sick blade style though, I really like it. And this really interesting handle pattern and handle design. It weighs, mine weighs 4.2 ounces, and that's without the weights, without any weights in there. If you can see, no weights in there. It comes with light weights, like stock from Blake, it comes with light weights and heavy weights. And I'm not sure how much those weigh, but if this is 4.2 without any weights, I'd assume maybe it's like 4.3 to 4.5 with the light and heavy weights. I'm not sure though. Okay, wait, let me cut for a second. Okay, sorry, he just freaked out for a second. But yeah, so 4.5, maybe anywhere from 4.3 to 4.5 without the weights. With the other weights, mine didn't come with them because I bought secondhand. I think the previous owner just lost them or something. Initially, I was upset about that, but I honestly really prefer how it flips with no weights, and I don't think I can have any more handle bias than this, because it is quite handle heavy. But yeah, to me, the balance feels neutral, but I've heard people say that no weights is actually blade biased, where I don't really get that, because I actually have the zippy weights, and with the zippy weights in here, it feels, to me, it feels handle biased. But Zippy says on his website that with these, none of the tungsten balls in there, with these in there, with these in the Nikiri, it's actually neutral. I don't know how I feel about that. Like I said, I've been telling you guys that I don't know much about balance, and balance is subjective, but I just can't see that being neutral because it feels neutral right now. So if anything, that's like very slightly handle biased. But regardless, without the weights is mine, and I've talked to a lot of other people, mine and quite a few other people's favorite flipping configuration for the Nikiri, just because it flips so good without the weights. It fans, like the way it fans without the weights is just amazing. Like it's one of my favorite ballad songs to fan, just because it feels so good to fan. But yeah, every other trick is also pretty good with it. He's being really loud, sorry guys. His name is Cairo, by the way. He's an African gray. He gets really hyper when I'm talking. Okay. Yeah. So what was I saying, man? Dang it, what was I saying? Man, you messed me up. I'm gonna take a cut for a second. Okay, I remembered what I was talking about, sorry. So yeah, this thing, it fans really well, but it also does pretty much every other trick really well. Oh my god, he's being really loud. It chaplains really well. It's really sticky with the chaplains, with no weights in. And it rollovers pretty well. Rollover is amazing, actually. But yeah, it does everything that you want to, best in my opinion, without the weights. I definitely think I don't want any more handle bias than this in my knife. Shh, shh, shh. Yeah, he just told me to relax. Yeah, I think I prefer this without the weights. Oh my god, I messed up on my room, sorry. Okay, yeah. So I prefer this without the weights. I think it just does everything amazing, and I think it's perfectly balanced the way it is. But yeah, in terms of the one thing that I was talking about that people would either really dislike or really like is the grip and the texturing pattern on the Nikiri. So the pattern on the Nikiri is really interesting because it's got this super aggressive line texturing, which provides a lot of grip, but it's also super rough. And I believe that Blake, if I'm not mistaken, he sends the Nakiris, like, if you order it just stock and no ano or anything like that, he sends it out untumbled, which is quite a controversial thing because, like, a lot of people would say you're sending out the balisong unfinished, which I kind of do agree with. Like, if you're sending it out untumbled, then the balisong hasn't been fully finished and it's going to be super rough. But I believe with the anodized ones, he actually has tumbled them. But, like, still, for, like, $450, if you're paying for a balisong, then you shouldn't have to, you know, tumble it yourself. Or you should expect for it. That was just on the bite handle. You should expect for it to be tumbled and completely finished because you're buying a finished product, right? So that is something that I don't really agree with. Mine, at least, I have tried a raw Nakiri. It was a little bit more aggressive than this, but it wasn't crazy. So, like, the tumbling does a lot. Or not, it does like a little bit, but not too much. The texturing is still really aggressive with the tumbling, and that's just because of how the pattern of the texture pattern is. It's just super rough in general, and like these cutouts, they're rough around the edges. Like it's rough. And that is something that a lot of people don't like, and I completely understand if you don't like that. Like, it makes sense because some people have just said it doesn't feel good in the hands. And it doesn't really, but I don't have a huge problem with that because I really like a lot of grip in my balisongs. I have fairly sweaty hands, so when I'm flipping, usually the balisong tends to slip out of my hand, but with this, I have had no issues, and it's by far the best grip I've ever tried on a balisong. It's all over too, which makes it like really cool because the grip isn't just in one specific area. Yeah, it's fair, it's not on the sides of it, but you have this pretty sick jimping. So I think it's like it covers most of the balisong. So the grip it's just amazing. If you like that kind of thing, it doesn't feel great in the hand, but I don't mind that because of the grip it provides. But yeah, that is one of the main reasons that people don't like it, because of how rough the texture is, and that's valid. Like, if you don't like it purely because of that reason, then I get you and I understand that. Me personally, I like it. The hardware. Let's talk about the hardware. Hardware is all right. I don't think mine didn't come with any extra hardware, so that's kind of a minus when you're paying for something that's this expensive. But you know, it is what it is. Other than that, it's not like a stellar flipper. It's nothing like that would blow your mind when you flip it. But I definitely plan on keeping this in my collection unless I'll get a Tesseract. I would trade this for a Tesseract, but the thing is, I'm nervous about doing that because I haven't seen any reviews on it. I don't know how it flips. So I'm going to definitely keep this in my collection for the time being. But yeah, this is definitely going to stay in my collection. Like I said, it doesn't blow your mind away when you flip it. Like, it's a good flipper, but it's like not amazing. And I think that's fine. I think for $450 for a Chandwich titanium isn't like the craziest price. Like, there's a lot more expensive titanium Balis out there, and for $450, it's pretty good. Like I said, it's a good balisong. It's I would say it's great, but I wouldn't say like it's amazing. Like, maybe like A tier, if S tier is the highest. Like, I'd say this is an A tier balisong. But yeah, let me see if he's being quiet now because I don't like filming out here. You ready to be quiet? You gonna be quiet now? Let's see if he says boop when I touch his nose. Boop. Nice. But yeah. The Nakiri is definitely a balisong that I'd recommend for people who are skeptical about trying it. I'd say for what reason are you skeptical about trying it? And if you're skeptical about trying it because of the grip, I'd say if you're skeptical about trying it because of the grip, then that's a valid concern. If you don't care much about the grip, like if you're okay with rougher balisongs, then I'd say definitely try it because the balance and the distribution of the weight in the blade, I think, is amazing. It does a lot of tricks really well. Oh, so close. So close. But yeah, it does everything really well. I really like the way it fans. It fans spectacularly, especially with no weights. But yeah, the zippy weights are definitely something to think about, because they do kind of enhance the performance in some ways. The cool thing about the Nakiri is how you don't have to disassemble the balisong to take apart, to change the weights, which is something that's really appreciated, because no one wants to have to disassemble their balisong just to change the balance configuration. So I think that's something really cool that Blake did on his part, making it so that you won't have to disassemble the balisong to change the weights. I hope more balisong makers start doing that if they plan to include weights with their Balis. I know it's a bit easier with Chanwich maybe, but even others, I'm sure there's ways to implement it. But yeah, I think that's all I had to say about the Nikiri. I feel like I always forget to talk about jimping, but jimping is really good, obviously, because of the texture. It ladders amazingly. Is it worth it? Yeah, I think it's worth it for 450 bucks, but I just don't agree with how he doesn't tumble it, so that's something to consider. Mine came with this really cool mod work. I got it secondhand in a trade. I traded a Cygnus for this, and I'm happy with that trade because I really like the way this flips. But I definitely wouldn't pay the kind of premium that Blake charges for his mods, because like, while he is doing some pretty solid stuff, I get that he's a full-time modder and his prices have to be high. But for me, like a broke college student, I can't justify spending $90 on a single color ano. And I'm sure this mod work was even more expensive. Like, I'm sure the laser pattern it was close to like 150 just for the mod work. And that's just too much for me. I can't justify that. But his mods are really good. I'm really excited to see what Blake puts out in the future, because I do think that he has some really good designs and ideas. And I hope to see him improve in the future, especially with like how like selling his balisongs unfinished. Like, I hope that's done now. I hope that the Nakiri was the only balisong like that. But I definitely am excited to try his future Balis. I really like the Nakiri. I think it is slightly underrated now, because a lot of people are hating on it, but I don't think it generally deserves that hate. Just because of one minus with the grip. I think it definitely deserves to be talked about a bit more, and I think people hate on it too much because it's made by Blake and whatever, it comes unfinished, blah, 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 all these reasons. I don't think that's enough reason to say it's a bad Bali. I think it's a really solid Bali. So yeah, if you want to pick one up, I think you should. They're really great. I'm probably definitely going to keep this in my collection for a while, unless Tesseract, like I said, but I feel like I'm just rambling at this point, so I'm going to wrap up the video. I appreciate you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe, comment, like if you guys want. I really enjoy reading all the comments. And I think that's going to be it for today. Thank you, and bye.